Hi 6th graders, I hope you've been doing well. Today we're going to continue Unit 3 working on Lesson 5, which is all about least common multiples. So our learning target for today is I can identify the least common multiples using a list or prime factor. Alright, so again, this is very similar to regular multiples, and if you remember, multiples are just counting by a number. So like multiples of 2 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and it goes on forever. You can do multiples one of two ways. You could make a list or you could prime factor it. Alright, so let's get started finding just common multiples. Okay, so we are going to use this picture and change your pen to red. We need to find the products of 2 and each of the following numbers. And we're just going to draw a red dot above each of those products on the number line. Okay, so 2 times 1 gives us 2. 2 times 2 gives us 4. 2 times 3 gives us 6. 2 times 4 gives us 8. 2 times 5 gives us 10. 2 times 6 gives us 12. And lastly, 2 times 7 gives us 14. Alright, so we just did number 1. Now, number 2, we need to find the products of 3 using 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and draw a blue dot above those products. Alright, so 1 times 3 gives us 3. 3 times 2 gives us 6. 3 times 4 gives us 12. Oops, I missed one. 3 times 3 gives us 9. And then 12. And lastly, 3 times 5 gives us 15. Alright, so now when we're looking at our multiples of 2 in red and our multiples of 3 in blue, we need to figure out which ones are the same. Well, they both share 6, and they both share 12. And if we would keep going, they would also be sharing more. So some common multiples are 6 and 12. Alright, so now let's practice some. Okay, so number 1, we need to find the first 3 common multiples of each set of numbers. So we have 4 and 8. Alright, so we're going to count by 4s and count by 8. I like to start with the bigger number first. Alright, 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. 24 plus 8 is 32. And 32 plus 8 gives us 40. Alright, I'm going to move that down so I have a little bit of room. Now let's do 4. 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 12. 16. 24. Oops, missed one. 20. And then 24, and then 28, 32, 36, 40, and we'll stop there. Alright, so now we need to identify the first 3 that they both share. Well, they both share this 8. They both share 16. And they both share 24. So we've just listed our first 3 and we are all done. Alright, so those are common multiples of 4 and 8. Now let's go on to number 2. We have 2 and 6. Alright, so 2, 6. Well, counting by 2s is pretty easy. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and we'll stop there. Now let's do 6s. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and we'll stop there. Alright, we need the first 3 that they both share. Well, they both share this 6. They both share the 12. And they both share the 18. So we listed way too many in the 6th row, but that's okay. Alright, so that's multiples. We found common multiples. Now let's go to our last one of these. We have 3 numbers now. We have 4, 5, and 10. Alright, so let's write these out. 4, we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, 60. Okay, now let's do tens. Or, sorry, fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Alright, now let's do tens. That should be the easiest one. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Alright, now looking at all of those lists, we need to find our first three that they both share. Well, the first one I see is 20. And then the next one I see is 40. And then lastly, I see 60. So 20, 40, 60. If you want, you can write them underneath. And we're done. Alright, so those are common multiples. That was just a good review for us because we did talk about multiples in lesson 1.3. So all the way back in unit 1. So now, we are going to talk about least common multiples. Okay, what least common multiples are they are the least number that is the multiple of 2 or more whole numbers. Okay, so the smallest one. So for example, 2 and 6. We listed 6, 12, and 18 as common multiples. The least common multiple would be the smallest, so 6. Okay, and like 20 was the least common multiple for number 3. So now let's do the listing method for 12 and 20. Okay, so let's count by 12s. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. Now let's count by 20s. 20, 40, 60. Oh, I see one that they share. They both share 60, so our least common multiple is 60. Alright, and then there's a second way we could do it. We could do the listing method, which is this one, or we could find the prime factorization and then figure out the method that way. So let's do the prime factorization of 12 and 20. Alright, let's do it over here. So we have 12 and we have 20. What two numbers multiplied together give us 12? Well, we know 2 times 6 gives us 12. 2 is prime. 6 is not. 2 times 3 gives us 6. So we're done. Okay, now 20. 2 times 10 gives us 20. 2 is prime, but 10 is not. 2 times 5 gives us 10. So 2 and 5 are both prime. Alright, so now writing it out as the prime factorization method, we are going to list all of the factors of 12. So we got 2 times 2 times 3. And then for 20, we got 2 times 2 times, oops, not 10. 2 times 2 times 5. Alright, so now to figure out the prime factorization way, we need to multiply all of the numbers together. But if they share a number, we only need to multiply it once. So for example, they both share this 2, so we're going to multiply that. They both share this next 2, so we're going to multiply that. They both share, or they don't share a 3, but we still need to multiply it. And they don't share a 5, but we still need to multiply it. Alright, so let's take 2 times 2, which is 4. 3 times 5, which is 15. So now we need to take 4 times 15, which when you multiply it, you get 60, which is exactly what we got for the listing way. Okay? So that's the prime factorization way. Now, we are going to show you how to use both the listing way to find the least common multiple and the prime factorization way. So let's start with listing. Okay, we are going to list to find the smallest number that 6 and 8 share. Alright, let's get started. I like starting with the biggest number because that one will have less multiples that we have to list than the smaller one. Alright, so let's start. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Start with the first 5, and then if you need to add more, you can. But that way you're not counting forever. Okay, now let's go to 6. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. All right, they both share one. The smallest one that they both share is 24. So our least common multiple is 24. All right, now let's do 4 and 8. All right, again, we're counting by 8s. Start with the bigger number. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Now let's count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Do we have one that they both share? Yeah, they both share this 8. So 8 is our common multiple. All right, and our last one. We have 9 and 12. All right, so we're going to count by both of them. I like to start with the bigger number. 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60. That's 5. All right, now let's count by 9s. 9, 18, 27, 30, 36, 45, 54. All right, we can stop there. Which one do they both share? Yeah, they both share 36. So our common multiple, least common multiple is 36. All right, so that's the listing way. There's another way we could do it. We could also find the prime factorization way. Okay, so I'm going to have you pause the video right now to fill out 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's your steps for doing prime factorization way. You need to find the prime factorization of each number, and then circle the common prime factors, and then circle all the remaining numbers, and then multiply everything that you circled. Alright, so let's get started. If you need, pause the video and then we'll do the examples. Alright, number 1, we have 6 and 15. So the first step is do the prime factorization. Well, 2 times 3 gives me 6. Both of those numbers are prime, so we can circle them. Next we have 15, which is 3 times 5. Both of those numbers are prime, so we can circle them. Now here's the part where it gets tricky. I like to write them out now. 6 we said was 2 times 3, and 15 we said was 3 times 5. We can't just multiply all of those numbers together. That would not give us our least common multiple. What we need to do is we need to multiply the numbers that they both share one time, and then multiply the other numbers one time. Alright, so the 6 has a 2, so we're going to multiply the 2. They both have a 3, so we're only going to multiply that 3 one time. And then the 15 has a 5, so then we need to multiply the 5. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 5 gives us 30. So our least common multiple of 6 and 15 is 30. Okay, now let's go over to number 2. We have 4 and 9. Well, first step is to find our prime factorization. 2 times 2 gives us 4. Both of those are prime. 3 times 3 gives us 9, and both of those are prime. Alright, so now let's write this out. 4, we got 2 times 2. 9, we got 3 times 3. Now in this instance, do they both share any numbers? No, 4 has 2 2s, and 9 has 3 3s. So we need to multiply all of that out. So we're really taking 4 times 9, which gives us 36 as our least common multiple. Alright, and our last one. We have 8 and 20. Our first step is to find our prime factorization. What two numbers multiplied together give us 8? Well, 2 times 4 gives us 8. 2 times 2 gives us 4. Now we're done. Then with 20, 5 times 4 gives us 20. 5 is prime, 4 is not. 2 times 2 gives us 20. Alright, so let's write these out. 8 was 2 times 2 times 2. 20 was 2 times 2 times 5. Alright, so this is where it's super important. We only multiply the numbers that they share one time. So they both share this 2. So we multiply it once. They both share this 2. Multiply it another time. And then 8 has one more 2. And 20 has one 5. Okay, so those are the numbers we multiply to figure out our common multiple. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. 4 times 10 is 40. So our least common multiple is 40. Alright, so if that didn't make sense or you're confused on one of the ways, whether it's the prime factorization way or the listing way, please make sure you ask me. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later.